Great. Well, I just want to say I don't normally get involved in Democratic primaries. I usually wait for it to sort itself out, but I made an exception in a couple of races, and this is one. So again, my honor to introduce Lacey Beaty, candidate for mayor of Beaverton. She was first elected to the Beaverton City Council in 2014. She's known and respected as a counselor who asks the tough questions, who isn't afraid to stand alone and fight for what's right and fair, who shows up prepared and ready to work hard for her community, whether it's being part of the Regional Housing Coalition to build more affordable housing. She led the passage of the largest investment in sidewalk infrastructure in 20 years and fought to see that city boards and commissions reflect the growing and diverse community in Beaverton. She's a city councilor, a veteran, a mother, housing and youth advocate. She sees the challenges that facing Beaverton from a variety of perspectives. And I know that Dacia, Maxine, Shamia, and I and Lacey have all talked about what it means to be a woman elected official who's blue collar and who isn't afraid to say what other people are afraid to say. And people are grateful, but I'll tell you what, it's hard because it's not how women are supposed to act. But here's the thing. What we need right now is Lacey Beaty as mayor of Beaverton. We need a fighter. We need someone that's not afraid to take on challenges. And we need to reward this woman for working harder than just about anyone I know for this election. With that, I'd like to introduce my friend, Lacey.
Thank you, Val. I think anyone, if Val says you're her friend, that's pretty special. And so I always take that. She is one of the hardest working fighters I've ever met. As we get going here, most of you know, I do Spartan racing and obstacle racing. Earlier this week when I was training with Captain Beaty, my husband, I got hit in the face with a medicine ball. So I have a big fat lip. So I'm really excited about the Zoom touch-up feature tonight. This has been pretty awesome. I didn't realize I was going to be the closer. I wasn't originally scheduled to be the closer, but I kind of wrote a closer speech. So it worked out really well. A lot of people tell me I talk fast because I'm Greek, but I'm standing between you and happy hour. So buckle up, we're gonna get through this speech quickly. So good evening, WashCo Dems. I'm City Councilor Lacey Beaty. I'm running to be Beaverton's next mayor and the first woman in 125 years to hold that position. As a long-term Washington County grassroots organizer, I wanted to take a minute to talk about our most recent past. We do, however, owe a great deal of gratitude to organizers like Karen Packer, who helped turn the county blue before many of us were even involved. It's important to remember those that paved the way, and I know all great leaders want the next generation to carry the torch further. So let's talk about the county's most recent past and the value of organizing together. Americans, myself included, tend to focus on federal politics, and trust me, as a war veteran that sat in a tiny outpost in the ruins of a Saddam Hussein soccer stadium, watching the Bush-Kerry election get called, and I sat there dreaming and hoping for a brighter future that didn't involve my friends losing their lives. So I understand consequences, and my generation of veterans, we've been paying it in spades. So the same can be true about local offices. Our grassroots activism has changed the landscape of Washington County. Republicans, for years, have been filling school boards, city council seats, and special districts with Republicans while we were not looking. That work required to unseat those people is long and costly. If we truly voted based on what impacts our life the most, we would see school boards and county commission and judges and mayors at the top of the ballot, not the bottom. Our progressive values are fundamental to our survival. The day I found out I was pregnant, I was called at close to midnight before the Hillsborough School Board during a contentious hearing where 4 white Republican men decided that young people should not have access to contraceptives and education where they spent the majority of the day, even though the state law afforded them that opportunity. It was crushing. However, We didn't just shut up, we put up. We put up 3 amazing candidates with shared values and wrapped them with support. Lisa Allen, Olga Acuna, and I sat in her living room prepping candidates for voter forum. And WashCo Dems, you showed up with some money and some boots on the ground. We knocked a lot of doors to win those seats. And we took that slate all the way over on election night. All 3 of them won. We got our first Latinx leader to that board. And within weeks, they passed a complete contraceptive access law that with no barriers at all to that service. Janine Solomon served on the school board at that time and took that experience and ran for the House. Shortly after that debate played out on national news, Tigard Tualatin and Forest Grove had the highest rate of teen pregnancy in the state, 4 times the state average. They soon follow suit. They passed contraceptive access. However, it wasn't all rosy and kumbaya. When I was on maternity leave, I went out to testify at the Forest Grove hearing, and an older white Republican male came off the bench to specifically tell me that if you were a young woman on birth control, he would consider you a whore. He's no longer serving on the Forest Grove School Board. Ben Bowman's on this call, and a literal army of young people, and some of those young people are on this call tonight that worked on his campaign are now working on mine. Hi, Olivia. Hi, Daniel. Thanks for being here tonight. With that army, Ben took out a long-term Republican who believed that you should have to see the doctor and watch a video to access condoms at their school-based health center. 1 year later, after that race, the Republican Party of Washington County called 3 women running for Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District radical in a press release because they believed that poor people and low-income people should be housed. We didn't just shut up when that happened. We put up a slate of 3 powerhouse women. And thanks to Felicita and Monteblanco, that board in 2 weeks is pledging $3.5 million over 5 years to affordable housing. Hillsborough City Council passed Sanctuary City only because of the appointment of Olivia Enclair. Thanks to the hard work of Kyle Allen and other city councilors to get her historic appointment, that resolution passed. And in Beaverton, we are not immune. We do not have a majority of progressive candidates. We have to elect Nadia Hassan, who's on this call. She would be the first Muslim woman ever elected to our city council and only the 16th woman ever elected in Beaverton's history. And when you help me get over the line as Beaverton's next mayor, we will get to appoint my replacement, giving us a voting progressive majority. Grassroots activism matters. In every case above, we matched big money with doors. When big donors wrote big checks, we showed up in spades and we got to work. Sheehan Kim on Hillsborough School Board faced a Republican opponent who wrote himself a $50,000 check and put up billboards. And we had to come together and knock more doors than anyone else. We clawed back that seat and won it because WashCo Dems can show up and do things. Like you, I'm gonna crawl through glass to get Joe Biden and Harris elected. I understand that that's happening at the top of the tickets, but we need to get elected members down ballot elected. And let us not forget, Joe Biden started at a county council. We need to invest in leaders all the way down the ballot. Building benches matter. So today, with COVID looming over the top, some of us are tired, and some of our methods that we use to get out where we're able to combat people with doors, they're no longer available. We need you to step up. We need you to give money. We need you to get on the phones. You need to write postcards. We can't stop until Washington County is the beacon of progressive values that we know it can be. So in 2020, from the top of the ticket to the races that matter most in your local government, we can do this. Let's do it, Washington County.